Do you have the habit of watching horror movies or reading horror stories? Here is a story by name The Red Room by H.G. Wells which tells about a little bit of horror. Let's read the story together, okay? Introduction. The Red Room is a story written by H.G. Wells, published in the year 1896. It is known as a classic Gothic ghost story exploring the themes of fear, superstition, and the supernatural. All these elements are being discussed in this story. Fear is there, that is, the characters are fearful regarding a particular room which is known as the Red Room. Red Room means a dangerous room. Then superstitious elements are there. People believed that the Red Room has some ghostly influences, and the supernatural thing of darkness is being discovered by the writer at the end of the story. Let's analyze the setting and the characters of the story. It takes place in Lorraine Castle's Red Room, notorious for its dark history and mysterious events. It is happening in a red room. That is, we have already said that it's actually a dark room. Maybe it is dangerous. That is why it is known as a red room. It is situated in Lorraine's Castle. A lot of histories and mysteries are there for this room, and a lot of stories are spread regarding the mysteries of this room. The narrator, who is a skeptic means he was not at all a believer of all these superstitious elements, spends a night in the room. This is the story. That is, he went to spend a night in the room, and the things happened for him during that night is being described by H.G. Wells here in this story. He meets three old caretakers in that castle, two old men and a woman. The room has a very long tragic history. A lot of tragic events were happened in that room, and it is said that ghostly legends are there. Ghostly events have been taken place in that room. Someone has witnessed some ghostly elements from that room. These are the rumors regarding that room. Anyway, our author is a little bit skeptical or suspicious towards all these superstitious elements, decided to spend a night in that room to prove that there is nothing superstitious in that room, nothing costly in that room. He wanted to prove that. Let us analyze which are the haunting experience in that red room. As night falls, the narrator faces unexplained events and the atmosphere. As it is very dark and he was going alone to that room, he had to face a lot of events, a lot of unnatural events in that room. Candles extinguished one by one. As it is darkness, he lighted candles in that room. What happened was that the candles were put off or extinguished one by one. This increased the fear in him. Uh, Shadows move as the candles were being put off. Shadows, he felt that the shadows were moving in the darkness. A little bit of fear was there in the mind of the narrator, and he became frantic at the end of the story. Not at the end of the story, but at the end of that night. The climax and resolution. What happens in the story? The narrator's terror reaches its peak. He was very much feared because all the lights or candles were extinguished by some supernatural elements. Uh, Darkness overwhelms narrator, loses self-possession. It is the power of darkness that has extinguished all the candles. This was the discovery made by the narrator at the end of the story. He finds himself in daylight, injured and bandaged. He was very much afraid of the things happened um, in that particular night. Anyway, he was not at all ready to believe that all these things were the ghostly influences or the influence of some ghostly elements which persisted in that room. He proved that it is the power of darkness that extinguished the candle lights. He realizes the true horror, that is fear itself. It was his fear that made him frantic. He realized this fact in the daylight. At the end of the story, the Red Room secret revealed. Fear is the ultimate horror. If we are moving towards a place with a little bit of fear, if no one will be there, our fear will be increased. Fear that will not have light nor sound, defense and darkness and overwhelms. That is, the fear will be increased with the darkness. If there is no light and no sun, this fear will be increased in one's mind. A classic tale exploring the psychological and atmosphere terrors of fear, leaving a lasting impact on Gothic literature. Gothic literature is an ancient type of story in which fear is being aroused by the setting. That is, aloof castles were there, in which mysterious characters were also there. Like this story, we know that at first the narrator meets three persons or three caretakers of that castle. They were so old and they were so indifferent, and some kinds of ghostly elements were there in that person's themselves. The narrator did not want their company. That is why he went for that room after a slight conversation, after a short conversation with these caretakers. At the end, it is proved that only the psychological elements made the author or made the hero narrator a little bit afraid of that particular room. There is nothing ghostly in that room, but the power of darkness is there. It still persists. This is the finding that happened at the end of the story. Hope you have understood this story. After listening to the video, please read the textbook thoroughly. Then only you will understand what is really happening or the details regarding the story. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.